Have you ever stopped in the middle of a busy day, perhaps while scrolling through your phone or sitting in traffic, and felt a sudden, strange disconnect? You look at your life, your job, your clothes, the way you talk, the opinions you share, and a haunting question rises from the depths of your mind. I spend every day trying to be like everyone else, but who am I really? It is a terrifying moment. We spend our lives building masks. We construct identities to please our parents, to impress our bosses, to get likes from strangers on the internet, and to fit into a society that is constantly shouting at us about who we should be. But beneath the noise, beneath the layers of expectation and the curated digital avatars, there is someone else. There is an authentic self waiting to be discovered. Welcome back to Wisdom of Stoic. As we move through our November theme of discovery, today we are not looking outward at the world, we are turning the gaze inward. We are using the ancient tool of Stoicism to excavate the most important thing you will ever find, your true self. To understand how to find this self, we must first understand what Stoicism actually is, because in the modern West, we often get it wrong. We tend to think of a Stoic as someone who has no emotions, a stone statue that endures pain without flinching, but that is not Stoicism. That is suppression. True Stoicism, the philosophy born in the painted porches of Athens and refined in the halls of Rome, is not about killing emotion, it is about domestication of emotion. It is a framework for clear thinking. It is the art of separating what is real from what is imagined. Three men guide us on this path. Imagine a Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth, sitting in a tent on the front lines of a war, writing notes to himself, not about how to conquer land, but how to conquer his own ego. Imagine a slave, Epictetus, who owned nothing, not even his own body, yet possessed a mind so free that emperors sought his advice. And imagine Seneca, a wealthy playwright and political advisor who navigated the treacherous courts of Nero while preaching the simplicity of nature. These men were vastly different, an emperor, a slave, and a statesman, yet they all found their authentic selves through the same philosophy. They understood that authenticity isn't something you create, it is something you reveal by chipping away everything that isn't you. However, the challenge we face today in the United States and across the modern world is arguably harder than what they faced. We are living in a crisis of identity. We are drowning in the noise of more. Digital overwhelm has fractured our attention. We wake up and immediately reach for a screen, flooding our brains with the lives, opinions, and successes of other people before we have even had a single original thought of our own. This is the trap of external validation. When your sense of self is tied to the number of views on a post, the title on your business card, or the brand of your car, you have handed the keys to your happiness to strangers. You become a chameleon, constantly changing colors to match the environment until you forget what color you were to begin with. This is not just a philosophical problem, it is a psychological emergency. We feel anxious, burnt out, and hollow because we're playing roles in a movie we didn't write. So how do we use Stoicism to break this cycle? The first principle of self-discovery is the dichotomy of control. Epictetus opens his handbook with the most powerful sentence in Stoic philosophy. Some things are up to us, and some things are not up to us. It sounds simple, but apply it to your identity. Your reputation, not up to you. What people think of you, not up to you. Your genetics, your upbringing, the economy, not up to you. When you build your identity on these things, you are building a house on sand. But your character, your judgments, your values, and how you choose to react, that is up to you. That is the bedrock of the authentic self. The authentic self is not the person who gets the promotion. The authentic self is the person who maintains their integrity whether they get the promotion or not. The second principle is virtue as the highest good. In our modern culture, we define good as pleasure, wealth, or fame. The Stoics argued that the only true good is virtue, specifically wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. When you align your identity with virtue, you stop asking, "What will make me look cool?" and start asking, "What is the right thing to do?" This shifts you from a performance-based identity to a character-based identity. You stop needing an audience to validate your existence. The third principle is living in accordance with nature. This doesn't mean moving to the woods. It means living in accordance with your nature as a rational, social being. It means understanding what human beings are built for. We are built for connection, for reason, and for contribution, not for mindless consumption or isolation. When you act against your nature, when you lie to fit in, or when you suppress your values to please a crowd, you feel a friction in your soul. That friction is the signal that you have lost your authentic self. Now, philosophy is useless without practice. How do we actually do this? How do we peel back the layers? The Stoics were big on practical exercises. Let's integrate these into your daily life. It starts with the morning reflection. Before you check your phone, before the world rushes in, take 5 minutes. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning that he would meet difficult, arrogant, and selfish people. But instead of letting that change him, he decided beforehand who he would be. Ask yourself, what virtue do I want to embody today? Maybe today is about patience. Maybe it's about courage. Set the intention. This anchors your selfhood before the chaos begins. Throughout the day, practice the pause. When something happens, an insult, a failure, a stressful email, do not react instantly. The Stoics believed that between the event and our reaction, there is a space. In that space lies our freedom. When you pause, you step out of the robot mode of conditioning and step into your authentic, rational self. You choose your response rather than being enslaved by your impulses. Then there is the practice of voluntary discomfort or digital minimalism. The Stoics would often dress simply or eat plain food to prove to themselves that they didn't need luxury to be happy. Today, the ultimate voluntary discomfort is silence. Turn off the phone. Disconnect the Wi-Fi. Sit in a room alone for 20 minutes. Pascal once said, "All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone." In that silence, the external voices die down, and your internal voice finally gets a chance to speak. It might be uncomfortable at first. You might feel bored, but boredom is the gateway to discovery. Finally, end your day with evening journaling. Seneca did this every night. He would put himself on trial. He asked, "What bad habit did I cure today? What temptation did I resist? In what aspect was I better?" This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about data. It's about reviewing the footage of your life to see if the person you were today matched the person you want to be. Writing connects you to your subconscious. It makes the invisible visible. Let's look at a story to illustrate this. Think of a young professional today. Let's call him David. David is 28, works in finance in Chicago, makes 6 figures, and has a great apartment. On Instagram, David is winning. But at night, David stares at the ceiling feeling a crushing weight of anxiety. He hates his job, but he can't leave because it defines him. He buys things he doesn't need to impress people he doesn't like. David is a slave, in the Stoic sense. Now contrast David with Cato the Younger, a Roman senator. Cato could have worn the finest purple robes and feasted on the best food. Instead, he often walked barefoot and wore simple tunics. Why? Because he wanted his authority to come from his character, not his clothes. He wanted to be sure that if everything was stripped away, he would still be Cato. When we apply this to David or to you, the path becomes clear. The goal isn't to quit your job and become a monk. The goal is to detach your worth from your job. It is to realize that you are not your LinkedIn profile. You are the conscious observer behind it. When David realizes this, he gains the power to say no. He gains the power to speak his truth in meetings. He gains the power to pursue what actually matters to him, rather than what matters to society. This brings us to our theme for November: discovery. Usually, when we think of discovery, we think of Columbus sailing the ocean or a scientist finding a new particle. But the greatest discovery is the self. It is an excavation. The Stoics believed that inside every person is a demon, a divine spark of reason. Over time, this spark gets covered in the mud of societal conditioning, fear, and desire. Your job is to wash off the mud. As we close, remember the words of Seneca. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. We waste it living other people's lives. We waste it worrying about things we cannot control. The authentic self is not found outside. It is cultivated within. It is the statue inside the block of marble, waiting for you to chip away the excess stone. So, here is my challenge for you for this week. Choose one mask you wear. Maybe it's the mask of being too busy, or the mask of always being happy, or the mask of cynicism. Choose one mask and drop it. Just for a day. Speak what you truly think. Wear what you are comfortable in. Embrace the silence. See what remains when the performance stops. That which remains, that is you. Thank you for watching Wisdom of Stoic. If you are ready to start this journey of discovery, I want you to comment below with the phrase, "I will define myself." Let that be your first step in reclaiming your identity. Don't forget to like and subscribe as we continue to explore the depths of the human soul this November. Walk in virtue, my friends.